The April 27th, 2023 special call meeting of the Lincoln County Board of Education will now come to order. We will have our first joint meeting tonight of the board and the Lincoln County Screening Committee for the superintendent search process. Mr. Tim Eaton will conduct our meeting, so we'll turn it over to him, and he's from KSBA.
Thank you. We'll pass out these folders and then we will go through a few preliminaries here. And as you all know, tonight, the screening committee will stay with me after the board's adjourned. Thank you, sir. Good. Go. And we will work probably for about an hour. And by the way, this lady here, if I was superintendent again, I would probably try to steal her from you all. She's great. Great to work with. Okay. Tonight, I think most of the folks in the room know one another. I usually put on this agenda because I'm in some very large districts. When the screening committee gets elected, the board has no idea who they are. Does anybody need to know? Are you pretty familiar with all of these folks, board? Yeah. Pretty familiar. We won't take time to do that if that's the case. So the next thing I want to talk about is it's the second piece in your packet, and it is just some statistical information. It looks like this. This talks about your breakdown of applications that were taken in the last 20 some days that I believe 26 days we advertised. Went through our portal at KSBA. No applications were taken locally. We did all of that work at KSBA. So you can see the breakdown. In total applications, we received 14 completed applications, and our process is quite lengthy. And what incomplete defines is a person that starts the application process and leaves out several pieces, and we deem that incomplete. So you actually had 3 that didn't. And I was on the phone with your chair lady recently. I told her we had 15. I went through them after I got them, and there was a gentleman from out of state who had only done about half of it. My secretary missed it. So we've got 14 complete. I told her 15 a couple days ago, and we've actually got 14 complete. We had one out of state person that he started it, and I don't know how Mary Ann missed it, my secretary, but I found it, and so we put him in the incompletes. Strangely enough, we did not have any female applications. I can't explain that. Most places I go, there are not a great number. Usually, if I've got 12, 14 applications, sometimes I'll get a couple of ladies, but there are many superintendents in the state that are female. I think you all know that, but we didn't get any applicants. There's one superintendent that has applied. There's 4 people that works in some capacity in central office. There are 2 that are current principals somewhere in the state. There's 2 from educational organizations, and that's something outside some kind of maybe if you work in KDE as a recovery specialist, I think that's where they categorize those. And we actually have 3 teachers that applied. And then there's 2 more. And I'm not sure exactly what that means, but we will get into that tonight. And so that's somebody that works somewhere tied to education, but it may not be KDE. It may be as a consultant or something like that, okay? Now, any questions about the statistical breakdown at all? Notice we're not talking about any names. We're not going to go there tonight. And so let's move along then. And you got roles and responsibilities in there, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. It's a front and back piece. And KSBA is basically filling the role of the board in this situation. We're doing the legwork for the board. We did the application process. We're leading the screening committee. We're doing those things. And I believe this is the first time, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time y'all used a consultant for a while anyway. I don't know about the past, but I know I used to call and market my services, and Mr. Blankenship, I knew him well. He would say, "No, Mr. Eaton, we're going to do it ourselves." And I said, "Okay, that's just part of my job. I called you, Tom. I told you." So maybe a little different dynamic than you've been used to, because we've got a process that follows the legal KRS of how, and the KRS is fairly vague about superintendent search, but we've been doing these for many years. Actually, I told the board I'm on my 51st superintendent search, so I'm about to figure it out. And I'll learn something here too, because I always learn when I go. I always learn and I enjoy it. The responsibility of the screening committee is basically, we're going to vet the candidates. We're going to look at everything, and I'll give you some homework. You'll be doing some studying at home on applications, because we couldn't go through them all tonight. We'd be here at 11 o'clock, because there's several pieces in there that is for review. And I'll be talking to you about some look fors. I know a lot of these people. I can talk to you about that. I've been around a while. You can tell by looking, and I do know several of your applicants, and I see some of them quite often. So, but we're going to be vetting. We're going to be getting it down to 3 to 5 candidates, something like that. Whatever we come up with, bring back to the board. We decided on give it a little bit of flexibility, 3 to 5. If we had 6 good candidates, I'm sure they wouldn't mind if you sent them. So that is basically what we're going to be doing. We're going to be working together, and I'll lead you through the process. I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't recommend anybody, because that's hiring a superintendent is a job of these folks right here. And but we're going to do the legwork for them, and we're going to vet the candidates and try to find the best fit for Lincoln County. Okay. Any questions about roles and responsibilities? All right. Then we've got a little one-pager in there about the process. This talks about the first meeting, kind of what we're going to be doing tonight. Second meeting, where that would be for the screening committee's purposes. You all will see what they'll be doing. They'll be doing some reference checks and things like that after they do some. We call the first leg of the process paper screen, although it's electronic. We call it the paper screen. And when we get through the paper screen, and we will vet some candidates before we come back the next time, then we'll do some reference checks, and then we may vet some more candidates. So and I promise you, every time I've done this, it works. The cream of the crop comes to the top. It works. And so that's all I'll say about that. And then the third meeting, we're going to develop our list, and we're going to plan how we would present those candidates to the board at that last meeting. So the second joint meeting will be just like this. It'll be a closed session. This is not closed. The second joint meeting, though, we're going to be talking about names, and we're going to be discussing candidates. So that leads me just to talk a minute about confidentiality, because I always urge confidentiality as best we can. I know everywhere people talk. I realize that. I've been a lot of places. I know how that is. And people will talk here, but if we can keep the names confidential, for the most part, the process goes much better, because if you go out to your constituency and somebody says, well, Mr. Krager, tell me about the applicants. And Mr. Krager starts talking about names, and they all start assuming things, and I'm not picking on you, sir.
No, hey man, I'm good.
You're transportation director, you can take a lot.
Wait on that. Yeah,
I've done that too. But anyway, Mr. Krager has, all of this is public information. Everything we're talking about tonight, you can tell everybody, hey, we got 14 applicants. We're pretty proud. Mr. Eaton said he hadn't been getting that many, and I hadn't. Since COVID, it had been down some, but this is good. 14 is a good number. I have had 38 before, back in the days, and a screening committee got cross-eyed reading all of those. That's a lot of material, but haven't seen that for a while. And, but with the confidentiality thing, we're gonna talk a little more about that. And I want to say to the board right now at this point that, the way we see that this works the best is tonight, we're gonna start doing our work. We're gonna do our confidentiality thing. We're not really gonna share the names with you all until we actually present, if that's acceptable, because that kind of takes you off the spot.
Right.
For, and I know that some of you probably know that somebody local that's applied. That's okay. I'm just talking about the vast part of the names. Just to go out there and make a list. We got this guy, this guy, this guy gets that. He's from here and he's from here. That's just not advisable. But the board will have privy to all the names after you present the top candidates. They're going to have the whole file just like you've had it, and they'll be able to look at everything just like you've looked at it, and they can question our work that way if they wish. And but most screening committees that I work with, almost all of them have been stellar. You all will be no different. You've got a good cross section of folks here, and you'll do a great job. So with that, I'm going to yield to the chair lady to read. We have a charge in there. Now, 30 days ago, we wrote an ad. I came to this meeting, board members, we had an ad that we put out for 6 days. We're going to bullet that criteria at the bottom of this page, and that's the guiding principle for us as screening committee members, is to look at those qualities, compare those with candidates. Let's see the ones that meet the criteria the best. I'm telling you, if somebody could do all of that, they would be some superintendent. But we all have weaknesses. Everybody won't have all those qualities. Some will have these qualities, some will have these. But we want to get as near as we can top candidates meeting that criteria down there. So I'm going to ask Ms. Meeks at this time to read the chart. I just always have the chairperson read it to the committee, and we can take any questions thereafter.
Okay, this is our charge to the screening committee. Number 1, maintain the confidentiality of applicants except as may be necessary to check references. 2, recommend 3 through 5 candidates. 3, recommended applicants are to be listed in alphabetical order and not ranked. 4, meet with the board on May 23rd for the purpose of formally recommending and discussing candidates. Criteria. The board is seeking an innovative and motivational leader with proven leadership and a record of improving student achievement. The successful candidate shall have administrative experience and be an instructional leader who is committed to college and career readiness. The ideal candidate should have the ability to effectively communicate with the staff and community to achieve district goals, as well as be visible in the community. The candidate shall possess strong morals and ethics. The candidate is required to have knowledge of budgeting, school finance, buildings and grounds, along with working knowledge of the Kentucky education system.
Thank you. Now we're coming down to the end. The board will adjourn and leave us here to work. But before then, does anyone have a question about anything to this point, board or screening committee? Okay, I yield to you.
Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
Can I make a comment real quick?
Yeah,
sure.
We just want to thank you all for dedicating your time, because y'all are going to put a lot of time into this.
This is a time-consuming process.
This is, you're volunteering, and it shows you have a passion for your school district, and I appreciate it. They appreciate it. We all appreciate
Thank you
it.
for that comment.
is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion.
Okay, Marvin first and Christine second. Vote, Gloria,
Yes.
Christine,
Yes.
Marvin. I vote also. I vote yes also.
I never seen anybody vote no on that.
Again, thank you all.